It's Ravens week. Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 8 of the Rebuttal. Man, it's been 8 weeks since I started doing this. This is crazy. But
8 weeks, man. Yeah.
8 weeks, man. So this week I am again joined by Ty, who was gracious enough to accept the challenge of talking about those nasty rat birds over in Baltimore, also known as the Baltimore Ravens. And I do appreciate that. Ty, how are you doing tonight, man?
Brother, I'm doing awesome as always, man. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. The work week is over, so that makes everything better. Like it's
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But yeah, so now we would talk normally about the game that the Baltimore Ravens played last week, but they didn't have a game. They had a bye. It's funny because they had the bye that we were supposed to have.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what?
Coronavirus,
like everything else in 2020.
Everything else.
It just gets messed up because of the coronavirus, and here we are right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the Steelers game. Last week, the Steelers went into Tennessee and played the Tennessee Titans in a game that I'm going to say we did win. I have to get the nice stuff out. We won 27-24. I got to watch this game from the beginning to the end.
Yes.
Watch the first half. Watch the Steelers jump out to what I think was a 24-7 lead by halftime. I watched Derrick Henry rush for nothing. I watched the Steelers put up points like it was easy. Our running game was going. The passing game was going. We even had a chance at the end of the half to put up more points when the Tennessee Titans muffed a punt. So I went into halftime feeling really good, and then the second half happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there and watched Tennessee, I'm going to say, come back to make it a game when it really should have never happened. The real reason why Tennessee came back, we have the ball off the muff punt. We're in field goal range already. If we do nothing, we can kick a field goal and get 3 points. What does Ben do? He throws a pick. All right, not a big deal. We're still winning. Tennessee comes out the second half. I think they got that big 75-yard touchdown on that slant. That dude was fast. I don't know what he caught it. Mika fell down. I said, "Well, that's that."
So the burners on.
So they come back and they score that touchdown, and then we have the ball. We're moving the ball again. Ben gets his second pick. All right, Tennessee does what with? I think they kicked the field goal after that one. After that, we go down again. We have the ball. And I'm sure there's stuff that happened in between there, but it was punts, whatever, inconsequential. Other than, I don't know if you saw it, Ty, that goal line stand that they gave the Titans. We stopped Derrick Henry. And if I'm good enough, I'm going to put a clip right in here.
Trying to inch closer. Henry gets stonewalled. Robert Spillane.
TJ Watt and Robert Spillane cracked him. They showed it, so I saw it from the side angle when you're watching the game. But when they showed the highlights, they showed it from the end zone. And you see the hole open, which is what I said last week. When those holes open, our linebackers have to hit those holes. You got to come downhill. Robert Spillane came downhill and hit Derrick Henry in his face. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Because we all know how Derrick Henry is.
Man.
You know how Derrick Henry is watching the Texans. Yeah. And I'm sitting there going, he's going to run someone over. And the simple fact he did not. I literally jumped up and said, oh, my God. I jumped up because I could not believe it. And then I think the next play they went for it, and they stopped him again, but there was a penalty. They get first and goal. Derrick Henry then decides, I'm not going through. I'm going to have to jump over. Jumps over everyone and gets sent. But now we have one more drive. All we have to do is run out the clock. That's all we have to do. We get the ball, and we're moving the ball. This is the part that made me so angry. We're moving the ball. We're in field goal range again. All we have to do is not turn the ball over. What do? Turn the ball over. And now Tennessee goes down the field, and they get to kick a game-time field goal to send it into overtime, and they miss. And I jumped up. I tell you, I screamed. The weirdest part is I watched the whole game without sound because my wife was listening to music, and I was like, let me be a good husband. I'm going to watch it without sound. So I'm just looking at it. So the only way she knows something happened is when I jump up and yell. So they missed the field goal. We win the game, 27-24. We are now 6-0, the only undefeated team left in the NFL. And now we're going into this week against Baltimore, our hated division rival, which is why I have my jersey on. All division games get the jersey. This is the team. If we were to ever go 2-14 in a season, but we beat the Ravens twice, I would almost take that. Ty, like you watch football. This is one of those real ones. I wrote some notes. I know Lamar Jackson only played against this team once. Last season, he played against us in the beginning of the season. By week 17, Baltimore rested him, so he didn't play.
Wow.
But in that first game, they had the Steelers defense sacked him 5 times, 186 passing yards, 3 interceptions. It was a bad game for him, and they only won because, one, we didn't have Ben, and they took us to overtime to win.
That's impressive.
It is. But you know what? I'm going to take this. I'm going to throw it. It's the stats. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
This is the AFC North. This is where it's 2 big bad men in the alley, and they just swinging at each other. And I watched this week, Ryan Clark said – he was like, I never was worried about who I played the week before the Ravens. It was the week after because I knew they weren't going to get 100% because this game is the game of the season right now. Ty, what do you think the Ravens need to do to have a chance to beat my Steelers? Also, just throw this in right now, as of today, Vegas has, not that it matters, but the Steelers are actual underdogs.
Really?
6-0 and on 3.5-point underdogs to the Ravens.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I'll just
also, and on top of that, their starting running back might not even be playing.
Right. You can't
I wasn't sure. I think they might have ruled him out already, but he's definitely doubtful.
Yeah, I saw that this morning too. Definitely saw that. So I don't know if he's out yet, but it's the Steelers. He might get up.
Yeah, He gonna drink some of that Michael Jordan special drink. And he gonna suit up, boy.
He gonna do whatever he gotta do to come out there.
Yeah.
So what do you think that, like I said, where do you think the Ravens their Michael Jordan special drink?
Yeah. So listen, definitely running game, man.
Mm-hmm.
The running game, which you guys have been like really good at stopping the run.
Absolutely.
So I mean, and with that team, they have the rookie out of Ohio State, Dobbins.
Mm-hmm.
They got, of course, slips me right now.
Ingram?
Big Trust.
Big Trust, Ingram. Big Trust.
They got Mark Ingram in the building. Then, of course, you still got to stop, Lamar Jackson. Too, because you might say he ain't a running back, but he put up running back numbers.
He leads the league in yards per attempt rushing.
Yeah, so of course there's that, So that's their bread and butter, and that with the rushing opens up, of course, all the downfield. So if they get that going, if they get that running game with the running backs, the 2 running backs, or whoever they show up, and Lamar, and I mean, that's what they need to do. Get that ball moving. Get the linebackers in, get the corners in, and they have to open up down the field. Down the field, man.
It's crazy because I wrote down what I think we need to do, and there's really 2 things. And the first one is stop the run. I wrote down stop the run and pressure the quarterback because they do run the ball. They're built around running. I saw some stat that said they have the least amount of pass attempts in the league. They don't even try because they can beat you with their legs. But at the same time, like you said, our defense is number 2 against the run. And we give up 60-something yards per game. Derrick Henry got 75 yards last week.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. I wasn't expecting.
When I saw that stat at the end of the game, I was like, hey, he got 75 yards. This is the man that ran for 200 and something yards the week before against the Texans. But when you, Brian Clark said it, when you get in get around those dogs on the line, whoo,
yeah, man.
He said he run different. And the thing I loved, like I had said last week that I didn't think TJ and Bud were going to have that many sacks. But what I noticed watching the game is that they weren't trying to get sacks. You literally saw Bud Dupree and TJ taking their man and throwing them and looking for Henry. That's all they did. Even on that goal line play, TJ got his man out the way and was coming right down the line. Like, no. Right. And he got his leg, and Spillane met him in the hole. And I'm sitting there like, they knew we were going to take the runaway and make Tannehill beat us. And I said, if Ben doesn't throw those 3 picks, that game is not as close as it was.
Exactly it.
And people are like, they came back. No, Ben threw them back into the game. I've been saying all season long that if Ben doesn't make mistakes, we win games. If you take those 3 picks away, we could probably win by 16 at least. We have been doing a really good job of running the ball. Connor didn't hit 100 yards this week, but he got 8. Right. But it was enough to keep the defense honest. And then they went away from it. And then they let Ben throw. And I'm like, no. We've been winning because we don't do that.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's stop that.
Stop that. Please stop that. We don't, because this is what happens. So I said, play defense, stop the run, pressure the quarterback. Don't turn the ball over because Ravens, I mean, those are easy things. You're not supposed to throw 3 picks and win. You're supposed to lose that game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
If we play good defense and we don't turn the ball over, then we win. Like, I was going to say we have to run the ball, but that goes kind of hand in hand with not turning the ball over.
Not turning it over,
So if we do that, we're going to be okay. We're going to win this game. So
I'll say this. Baltimore, they can't get behind. They can't get behind because if they get behind, 7, 9 points, there's that takes away the running game.
Right.
They have to throw it. Right. And with them having to throw it, and you guys know that, they put the pressure on Lamar.
Yeah.
And make him scramble and make him have to throw.
Right.
Not really a good look for him.
What do you think of Lamar, like, as a quarterback? He's not on track to be as good as he was last year. But then I'm also thinking the same thing that I said when we were on last week about the Steelers. We played the Browns, and then we played a bunch of nobodies. The Browns are the only ones with a winning record. Baltimore has played the Eagles, they played the Texans, they played the Browns, they played the same, but when they ran into that real team in Kansas City.
Yeah, they put the liking on them. But see, even still, I think as a quarterback for Lamar, I think I'll say this, I think the coaching staff brings out everything that he needs to succeed.
Right.
And, if it's the running game, if the running game is stronger than the passing game, by all means, why am I going to force a round hole in the square peg?
Right.
Let's fit in where we fit in. And if we don't have to throw it, 20, 25 times a game, if we can win by running, let's win by running. But then but I do believe if need be, and I think he's got a good enough line, he can be a pretty good throwing quarterback. As well. Against your defense, maybe not so much, but I think as an overall, Lamar Jackson has that talent.
Absolutely. Like, I feel exactly the same way. I feel like he can. The thing is, we all know watching these mobile quarterbacks, a lot of them, if you don't eventually learn to throw from the pocket, one, your career is going to be shorter because you're going to take hits that you wouldn't normally take. And two, you'll never become that next level. And I like Lamar. I think Lamar is awesome, especially for the league, especially for Baltimore. Like, he fits what they're doing. I hate him because he's a Raven. But I'm like, that's the one thing, like you said, you got to be able to throw. Because if you get down 10 points in the third, I don't know if the run gets you back in it. I do, especially against our team where we got 4 or 5 receivers that we can throw to any of them, and we still got James Conner, who is actually doing a pretty damn good job of rushing this year. If you looked at that game, Tennessee had the ball for 1 minute in the first quarter, like 1 minute and 30-something seconds. Like,
that's how you milk the clock.
Right? And it was crazy because they just couldn't stop the run, and it was So. The part I love the most, last time you said the Titans are going to beat us, and wait, the Texans are going to beat us. I hate the fact that their names are so damn similar. But you said, the last time you said the Texans are going to beat us, and they didn't. So, who do you think wins this game this week?
I got Pittsburgh staying undefeated. Pittsburgh staying undefeated, yeah. And the score, I'm going to give you a score. Let's see. I'm going to go 24-17.
Wow. I mean, it's close to what I had.
24-17.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had too. So I'm thinking, of course, I'm picking Pittsburgh. I'm literally wearing
Oh, really? Are you really? I didn't think so.
There's no chance with the Hines Ward poster in the back and the helmet over there that I'm going to pick someone else. But I was thinking not exactly the same thing. I was thinking 17-21, 17-24 I could easily see. I can honestly see that. I'm not taking anything away from the Baltimore defense, but I don't think they're better than our defense.
Right.
And that's that. Their running game may be better than our running game, but I don't think their passing game is better than our passing game.
No.
So if you take defense in our passing game versus their run game, and the thing is, I know how good their corners are. Like we see, and we know it's going to be a dog fight. But so I don't expect a blowout. I said that before, and that was something different. But with that being said, we have so many receivers. It's like you decide who we're going to throw it to this week. You want to cover Juju? Don't worry. We got Chase Claypool over here. Oh, you want to cover both of them? All right, we got James Washington over here.
Exactly.
Oh, you want to cover all 3 of them? All right, Deontay, come on. We got
exactly. It's like where these guys coming from? Like I'm not a Steelers fan, you know, but I follow sports, and I'm like, who is this guy? You know, I've never heard of him. Putting up numbers.
Whoever's open is going to get the ball. Yeah. Where in the past, the Steelers couldn't do that. Because remember, AB would flip out if he didn't get his touches. And AB would flip out if we won and he didn't get his touches, he would flip out. But if he got his touches and we lost, he had no problems with it.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's so different. It's such a different team. Yeah, I mean, no, whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But I'm like, I really do feel like this is going to be one of those games where some people are going to be sore. And I feel like we just had one of those games. But I feel like I would almost, if these games were flipped, I'd be more nervous. Like if we played Baltimore first and then played the Titans, I'd be like, oh, we're going to lose the Titans game. Because we wore ourselves out with the Ravens game.
Right.
But since we already got them out the way, I'm like, hey, I don't feel like there's going to be any difficulty for our team to get up for this game. I do not see that.
Man, this game come with an automatic battery in your back.
Right.
You're like, yeah, we've had this battery sitting on the side for this game. We're like waiting for this. That Browns game first, and now this one. Like, let's go.
Let's talk. I mean, we beat the Browns. And then we beat the Titans. And I'm like, right now in a normal year, I'd be like 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Let's go ahead. But something in me is like, you know what? Let's go ahead and get this third one.
let's run the table.
I heard Ryan Clark say next week is a bye week because we're playing the Cowboys. So it doesn't matter.
Wow. Look, that'd be the one, though. That'd be the one to shoot yourself in the foot.
We know they are. Like, I know. Yeah. I fully expect if we win this game, like I think we will, we're going to lose against Dallas. Like, I will come on here and say, most likely we're going to lose because they're not going to have nothing left.
Right.
But Dallas might not even show up either. Did you see when Andy Dalton got hit by –
man.
But they were like, nobody none of his linemen, none of his teammates. They were like, everybody just stood there and was like, no,
they just killed Andy. Oh, well. What are you wearing to the funeral? What, really?
What's so bad, Ty? When I tell you, I looked at it and I didn't see it at first, like how bad it was. And then I kept looking at it and I was like, wait a minute, am I missing something? I went back and looked and I was like, dude, like the dude just stood up. That was it.
And it's crazy. So you had that. And then last night, Teddy Bridgewater got a hit similar. And man, they went almost full battle royal. I was like, that's how it's supposed to be when your quarterback get hit.
Yes.
When you catch a hit, you're supposed to go off, man.
The Cowboys were like, so what you doing, man? Oh, why Andy Dalton's sitting there swaying?
And for real, get this man off the field. and it's good. And it's good. The coach called them out on that. It's like, we got to be tougher than that. We got to be better than that.
I mean, you have to be. Like, this is your guy, even though it's not Dak. Still your guy. Like you gotta at least pretend like, push somebody. Like somebody got
to the run. Somebody.
It's true though. Somebody got to feel me. Hey.
Somebody got to feel it.
Come on, man.
That's my quarterback.
Ty, man, always.
Always, my brother.
Dude, I appreciate you coming on. We played him again in 3 weeks, so be ready for that one.
I'm here.
Tell everyone I said hi. And
likewise.
We're going to definitely talk again later, man.
Definitely, bro.
Well, that is all for this week. I want to thank Ty once again for coming on and joining me to discuss this week's big game against the Ravens. And I also want to thank all of you, the viewers who tune in every week. It is absolutely appreciated. And I hope you'll all tune in next week where we discuss the Cowboys and the Steelers in a game that would have meant a lot more with Dak Prescott at quarterback. But since he is not, it will mean a lot less. But that doesn't mean the Cowboys won't show up ready to play this game, so they cannot be overlooked. Have a great week, everyone, and I will see you next week right here on The Rebuttal. Take care.